Hello, it's me, Nancy, today. I'd like to sit there. I suppose we may have a few conversations, you know. I guess you're not going to sit there, are you? We may have a few conversations because I'm sitting in the car beneath the Quebec sign. You notice there's only a Quebec flag here? There's no Canada flag? What's with that? Anyway, so I'm sitting here by the turnaround to the U.S. Doesn't want to focus. Anyway, so, shall I tell you the story? Well, it all began... Well, I'll just tell you the end of the story, why I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here because Jeannie and her daughter and her daughter's husband drove me. Jeannie drove my car, and the other two drove together. Ouch. And they, I'm in the back seat because I have a broken leg. It's broken right at the base, right just above the ankle bone. Just the tip of the actual long bone is broken. The outside bone, which is the smaller bone, is it? Anyway, it's broken. So, I need to get back to Canada. You go home when you get hurt, right? So I got hurt. So they drove up here. It took about... When did we get here? What's the time? Oh, I have an iPod here. It's 4:53. So I think the other guys... what is this one? This is not... So, they'll be here in about an hour and a half or something, which is just fine with me. It gives me time to sort of ponder everything that's been going on. Catch up. Anyway, I like my own company. I feel very content when I'm with myself and the camera. I need somebody just to use the camera. But I didn't realize how strong I am until I was around people that were afraid of women being out by themselves. I got the feeling that a woman is a meek and mild, reclining person who either she's a feminist and she has an executive job, or she is supposed to stay at home or something. Anyway, I'm just so grateful I got to come here and do all this. This is so awesome. I had a good time. So the way I broke my ankle, kind of strange. I wasn't feeling so great. And I drank a lot of water. And then I ate a big chunk of onion. And do you know how an onion will sort of sour your stomach? Ugh. And so then I felt like I felt yuck, and I thought I should eat some more of my soup. So I ate this milk. It was very milky. It wasn't like it was thickened or anything. It was just milk with potatoes in it. It was cooked, so I thought maybe I'd be okay with it. Because usually it makes me hurt or get bronchitis if I have milk. So I didn't feel very good. And dinner was over, everybody was done, and I was still slurping up this soup. And then I felt worse. Like the soup and the onion were curdling or something. I just had such terrible indigestion. It wasn't burning, but it was... The word bilious comes to mind, but I don't know if that means anything. I think that's a word the Rasta used. That was for when you stand up and you black out. Well, so I stood there. I should have sat down, stayed sitting down, but we walked out to the sidewalk, and Jeannie asked if I wanted her to bring the car around. I said, yeah, that'd be good, because I didn't feel very good, and I didn't say anything about not feeling very good. And then, I thought maybe I should keep walking, and I turned around, and they were already gone. I don't know where they disappeared to. They weren't ahead on the sidewalk. They weren't between the parked cars. They weren't across the street, and they weren't back the other way. I had no idea where they'd gone or how quickly, or maybe how long I had taken before I had looked up to see where they were. Anyway, so I just felt worse. I just felt worse. And so I thought I should walk, right? Because maybe I wouldn't feel so bad if I was moving. But I couldn't find them. So I just stood there, and I was just standing there, and then I felt worse, and so I leaned against the wall. And I felt like I felt like I was so bloated. My stomach was just like, and then the weight of my stomach was like falling. I just felt like I was consumed with this, I don't know, whatever it was. And so then I was leaning against the wall, and I thought maybe I'll lean down a bit. But closing my eyes made it worse. And then leaning forward made it even more worse. So I leaned back, and then I opened my eyes, but it was still like awful. So it was like, I had a way to say it a minute ago. It's like delirium. When you're delirious and you have the flu. Have you ever been delirious? It's like that. That's what I felt like. Like my head was just swimming. And I couldn't stop it. And so I turned around and I leaned against the window. I put my arms up and leaned on my arms, hoping they would hurry and come. But I couldn't. I'd even forgotten about them. Now I was sort of feeling I was doomed to some awful thing. And I prayed and said, "Save me, Jesus." And meanwhile, Ginny saw me leaning against the wall. And then she saw me slide down a little bit, then slide down a little more, and then I just dropped. And I think when I said, "Save me," in the name of Jesus Christ, or "Save me, Jesus Christ," something like that. When I said that, I heard this loud crack. It's like breaking a branch. It's a loud crack. And that's when I had fallen, but I don't remember falling. And I didn't remember hitting the ground. But nothing hurts. Nothing hurts except the bottom of my leg is broken. I don't know how I did that, unless I was turning or something and twisted my ankle and broke it by hitting it on the wall or something. But there's not. I don't know if there's I don't think there's a mark or a cut where I hurt it. Anyway, where I broke it. So then I hobbled to the car. At first I tried to stand up. And that was kind of weird because there were all these people talking around me. They were saying, "She hit her head. Don't let her move." But I never hit my head. My head is perfect. I mean, my hair clips are not broken. Nothing was wrong. My head is fine. The noise, I mean, nobody believes me that I didn't hit my head. But it was the breaking of the bone that was the noise, which somebody must have heard. Anyway. But she says I hit my head. But I think maybe I was so close to the ground when I fell. I don't remember. Anyway, so then somebody said they called 911. And I was horrified, like, "What? No way, I just fell. Don't take me to the hospital. I can't deal with American healthcare bills and things. I'm not insured enough in the USA. So, I'm insured for $500,000. But anyway, I didn't. Once you go to the hospital, you have no idea. They do an EKG and find something, you're stuck. Then they could keep you for a week. You'd be destitute after that. Oh, sorry. My daughter said we're here. 2.3 hours left. Oh, I thought she said an hour and 50 minutes. Alright, whatever. 2.3 hours away. And I got here at, let's see, when I got here, 4:09. And so she had 2 more hours. So she'll be here 6:09 plus 0.3 hour. So she'll be here sometime between 6 and 6:30 if they don't stop. But I imagine if they're anything like me, they'll stop. Because they'll need to stop because she'll have to walk around and have to gas up. This was an amazing relay race. So Jeannie took me, she drove me here and the other guys are coming to meet me. Okay, so let me see what I could figure out. I was telling you about something. So I fell. I hobbled to the car and I got in. And I thought I'll feel better, you know, if I just sit. I did feel better. I did feel much better, except I had a horrible pain in my leg. But my head was not terrible anymore. I felt fine after that. But I wasn't hungry. I didn't eat since, except I had an ice cream sandwich last night. So what she did, I said, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. No. I was in Wissahickon, or Wissahickon, I think that's the name of it. And, that's where I fell, at Sarah's restaurant. I'm pretty sure it had to do with the onion and the milk. But maybe that wasn't all. I don't know, so I gotta get checked out. Anyway, so I was in the car in terrible agony. And I wanted to put something around my leg. It didn't hurt at the beginning. But I had tried to get up and stand on it. And it's like it just flopped out of the way. It's like, whoa. And then I sort of had to swing it or wobble it to put it down and put my leg on it, on top of it. And it was like, oh man, this foot is broken off of the bone. I mean, it only was a small break, a crack. But I don't know what happened there. Why it did that. Anyway, so it hurt, and we drove, and I didn't want to go to the doctor, and then I remembered I had Sun Life. I realized it was broken, and that I had to get it set, and I thought if they could just put a splint on me, you know, I wasn't really thinking right. If they could put a splint on me, I'll be okay, and I can get to Canada. But it's my right leg, so I couldn't drive. But I couldn't think about that. And then after driving for a few minutes, I realized I had to go to the doctor now. And that my Sun Life insurance should cover getting a cast fixed. It shouldn't cost $500,000, right? So I should be okay. So we got there, and it took a long time. It was in Augusta. So that was quite a drive. And the roads are curvy and slow and bumpy. Well, they're kind of fast, but curvy and very bumpy. Anyway, but Jeannie drove. We were in her car. And we got to the hospital, and they took care of me. They called my insurance, and they called the hospital, and they approved x-rays and the EKG and doing the leg. Anyway. And so then they wouldn't, I didn't want an EKG because I thought it wasn't my heart. It was indigestion. However, heart attacks present like indigestion. But I was not, there was no pain anywhere. I was just totally, it was all in my head. It was in my stomach. It was totally woozy, and it was like when you got the flu and you stand up and you're going to do something anyway. You try to and you can't. You just black out or something. It's so bad you have to lay back down on the bathroom floor. Did you ever do that? I have. In Mexico. Several times. And I guess when I was growing up. Yeah, I remember lying on the bathroom floor when I grew up. Anyway, I don't usually get that sick. So, they wanted to do an EKG, and I didn't want them, if it had been something to do with my heart, I did not want them to find out and refuse me to leave. Want to keep me for 5 days, or, last time I had a heart attack, they kept me for 5 days. They wouldn't let me leave. They wouldn't let me play my violin. No, you have to stay quiet. I felt fine. I'd just taken a flight home from Georgia, for goodness sakes. Anyway, that was in Canada, so it was okay, I could stay. Whew. But I can't do that in the US, because I don't know. It's pretty scary, their health system. So, then we got home afterwards. So, Kaylee and her grandma, Jenny, were there, and they stayed with me. And the people took care of me, and then we went home to her house, and it was really hard getting out of the car and putting all my weight on one foot. That's a lot of weight. I'm a very heavy person. And I can stand on one foot. I did it a lot while I was recovering with my hip surgery. So those muscles are still pretty good. But I had just eaten all that stuff. And when you eat stuff that is not, your body doesn't like, you're not strong. You're weaker. And so it was harder for me to push myself up and do all that. Anyway, so I got to the house. I crawled up the stairs. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. It's starting to rain in, so I gotta close my windows. But I'm in the back seat, and the windows it's way up there. So I have my key. I can turn on my car. Because I'm so smart. Okay, and then I can roll up my window. There. And I can turn it off now. Is that cool? And the light comes on. So there we have it. Anyway, so now Jeannie was really worried because they said I have to go back and get a cast. Have it set and put a cast on it. Because right now it's just this big splint thing. I put a sock over it to keep it clean. And it's a rainy day. How are you going to keep it clean and dry on a rainy day? Well, you're just not going to go out. So here I am sitting in the car, enjoying myself talking to you. And I'm talking to everybody else because I have all my people on here. So Jeannie was really worried about me being in the United States. She wanted me to get back to my family so my family could take care of me. Because she wouldn't be able to be there to take care of me at all because her husband has heart problems. He just had triple bypass surgery, so. And the other daughter, school starts next week. Today's Saturday. So they don't have much time to get ready for stuff. So I would not be. I should be home. I guess I should be home with my family. I miss my old kitchen. I miss my old house. It was so cozy. I had such nice places to sit, those green couches. Why did I ever get rid of them? Why did I do anything on my house? I shouldn't have done that. You can buy a house in Maine for $10,000. Yeah, in Millinocket. $10,000. So if you don't need to have you don't need a job, if you've got your own income, you can live there. And out in the country there, it's really wild. I like our place. Anyway, I can't really see out the windows too well because I'm way down here and the window is way up there. But I can open my door. If it starts to be sunny or something, I can bring out my chair and sit outside. But that would be kind of hard because I can't walk on my foot. I realize how much more strong I am, like mentally, than I thought I was. Mary has told me that I'll have a challenge and I don't stop because I have a challenge. And look, people getting their picture taken by the Quebec flag. They're so excited to be in Quebec. But what about Canada? No Canadian flag. Unbelievable. What will they do to separate? They refer to themselves as in Quebec and in Canada. They never think of themselves as Canadians. Well, you know, that's kind of the way it always was, right? Because the French refused to swear allegiance to the Queen of England. Every time there was a war in Europe, the winner got the colonies, so the French or the English. And it kept going back and forth. So one time they were in Acadia, in Nova Scotia, and I guess maybe, I don't know where else, but they were kicked out because they would not pledge allegiance to the King of England. And so that's why they had to go away. But then, so the Quebec has always been, like, Canada was English, right? So it was founded by the English and immigrated to by the English. So it's very much, and it was a British colony, for goodness sakes. So it stayed a British colony from the time that it won that last war in Europe. And so France, so the French still didn't pay allegiance to the English. So the English were here, created Canada around the French. So the French have their own country, or they think they have their own country, in the middle of Canada. And they are still much more tied to France than to England. You know. But anyway, that's Canada. There was an earthquake on the border between Quebec and Ontario. And it was right on the border. So I said it was Quebec trying to separate. It was in the river or something like that. So here I am sitting. I wonder what this looks like if you were trying to look out my window. There's some stuff going on back there. I can't tell what it is. You might not be able to tell either because I might not have filmed anything properly. There's a putt-putt car that's in there. Oh, it's not a putt-putt, it's a Westphalia. Two of them together. Away they go. The last one I saw, they were two together also. So I'm just sitting here at the border, hanging out. There's a bathroom over there. You know how hard it'll be to get to that bathroom? One step at a time. No walker. I have one cane. I have 2 poles. It's hopping all the way. Okay. I won't think about that. So I'm just not having anything to eat or drink today. Didn't have much of anything since I got up. Did have a few sips of water. But I should take some ibuprofen. But I don't think I have any water. I have a little bit in here, maybe. Yes, I have a little bit. I have some of my yummy ibuprofen. I told you about my situation that I could walk for 2 months. 2 whole months I could walk. Okay, that's empty. Never leave home without them. Oh, you're gonna run out of battery now. Okay, well, I'll play my violin. If you don't want to listen, that's okay. It's your choice. Okay, your choice. So what time is it now? It's 5 o'clock. Hey, it looks like a little bit of a glimmer of light out there. Is the light, sun coming out, or is this just flowers look pretty? You know, coming up here to the border to Jackman, it's like nobody lives up there in Maine. Like, that's really wild up there. And now we cross over to the border and it doesn't look so wild anymore. But we'll see what it looks like. I've never been up in this part of Quebec. I don't know. I imagine Quebec was fields with farms. But maybe that's the eastern provinces. But now that's where we are, is eastern provinces, isn't it? Yeah, because we came in on the corner, Jackman Armstrong Jackman Bridge. I have Wi-Fi. And I have unlimited data now that I'm here. I was going to write in my journal. I've gotten so lazy about my journal lately. Okay, so I guess I'm going to get off the phone, off the video. But this is where I am. There we go. See, my leg is up. It starts to hurt if my foot starts going forward a bit, and it hurts. So if I bring my foot back up, it feels better. But I don't know if I'm supposed to do that. You know, it's on the hinge is where this is broken. So I want to get good x-rays at home and see if it's the same thing they see there. Anyway, this hospital I went to doesn't have a very good reputation for finding things, either heart problems or even broken bones, setting them wrong. So I gotta get there to Canada. I guess I can go to any hospital in Canada. Hey, you know what I could do? I could call an ambulance from here, and they could come and pick me up here and take me to the nearest hospital. And when Scarlett and Bo come with Willem, my car would be here. So they could take my car and come to the hospital to see me. But that's probably a bad idea. They're not going to all want to hang out there at the hospital. Anyway, I'm so glad that Jeannie and her family went home and left me here in the car. That was going to be really awful if they were going to just hang around. And they like each other, they hang around, visit with each other, and I'm in the car here. So I didn't see a reason that I needed anybody to be here. I thought it would be better if they got on with their day. They've done enough sacrifice for the day. Anyway, so there we have it. So it wasn't far from Jeannie's. I thought it was going to be about